Hello and welcome to Reddit Tell. Today we are going to be looking at True Off My Chest. If you do like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And with that out the way, onto the story. I broke off my engagement with my fiance when she made fun of my ex-girlfriend's weight. Now both our families are livid. I, 38, met my ex-girlfriend, 37, 5 years ago through mutual friends. Her best friend is married to a colleague of mine. We dated for 2 years. I have never been as happy as when I was during that time. I come from a wealthy family and my family never liked her because of her background. I have never had a great childhood. My mum passed away from cancer when I was 12 and my dad kept marrying much younger women who only wanted his money. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend when I was in her kitchen one day, making us dinner while she was in the shower. She got a text from a guy, sexy ass John. I couldn't read the text. I never confronted her. Something just switched off in my head and all the love I had for her was gone. I saw her as all the women my dad married, only in it for the money, and many of them cheated on him. I was around enough confrontations between my dad and his wives, and the way he came out of these confrontations, gaslit and more devastated. I decided that she wasn't worth the hurt. We made love several times that night with it in mind that I will never see her again. I ghosted her afterwards. She kept texting and calling for at least 2 weeks, asking if she did something wrong at first, then if I was alright. She went to see my colleague to ask him if I was alright. I was. I just didn't tell anyone we broke up and why. When she heard I was alright, she never texted me again. Probably she understood that I had ghosted her. I started seeing my fiance, a female 34, a few weeks later. My fiance also comes from a wealthy family and she was more accepted in my family. Beautiful, tall and skinny. She is also a mutual friend with my ex-girlfriend and me. And she always hated my ex-girlfriend and the fact that I went out with my ex-girlfriend. When she heard that we had broken up, she was there for me and feelings developed. She is the only one I told the reason why I broke it off with my ex-girlfriend. We got engaged about a year later. My fiance has relatives in New York and she asked me if I was interested in moving across the pond and live in New York for a year or two before we got married and started a family. That excited me. I love New York, but I never lived there. On the day before our move, my colleague and his wife renewed their vows and they invited me and my fiance to the party. I was reluctant to go, but my fiance insisted since it was our last day in the country. Besides, she wanted the world to know that we were engaged. I was thinking that I wanted to avoid my ex-girlfriend. She was there and she was already drunk. When she saw me, all she said was, "Hey, you broke my heart," and went upstairs. I didn't see her more that evening until the party. She was with her girlfriends and she looked just stunning. She looked happy too, so I could relax. She didn't spare me a glance. She was talking and flirting with a guy I haven't seen before, but I found out later that she met him that night. My fiance and I decided to leave earlier, so I was trying to find the bride, aka ex-girlfriend's best friend, to say goodnight. I heard her and ex-girlfriend talking in the bride's bedroom about this guy ex-girlfriend was flirting with. Something about taking him home with her and her finally ready to cut the celibacy short. The bride asked her if I was really her last and she said yes. It has been over 1 year and 2 months since she had someone. They laughed and continued to talk about the guy. I just left in silence. What about John? Fiance and I left, but I just couldn't stop thinking about what I heard, so around midnight I went back to my colleague's house. They were still up with some friends, but my ex-girlfriend and the guy were gone. I talked to the wife. I asked her if she knew who sexy ass John is. She laughed and said it was a guy who did a bunch of painting in her house. She said that he was very weird and always talked about his ass being sexy. So they gave him the name Sexy Ass. I asked her if he did work at my ex-girlfriend's because now I was remembering her talking about wanting to have some repainting in her bedroom. The wife said yes, and then she looked at me and asked, "Did you break up with my best friend because of this?" She didn't need to wait for an answer because she could see it. She started crying. I didn't remember leaving them or how I ended up at my ex-girlfriend's apartment. I called her, but she didn't answer, so I called to her apartment instead. She was shocked to hear my voice and told me that I should go. I insisted on seeing her. She came down and she was peed. I asked her about John and she said it was the handyman who did some work on her apartment. I told her that I didn't know that until now and that I thought that she was cheating on me. She just looked at me like, "Why are you telling me this now?" I told her that I was sorry for what I did and that I wanted to talk to her more, to ask for her forgiveness. She started crying, talking about how I threw her and 2 years' relationship like she was dirt on my shoes, without even giving her the dignity of confronting her. If I really thought she cheated, shouldn't I at least try to yell at her, berate her, ask why? She said that she had nothing more to say. I begged her to meet me for breakfast the next day. She finally agreed after I told her I was leaving the country and I wanted to see her before. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her telling me that she couldn't meet up for breakfast, but that everything was forgiven. She congratulated me on the engagement and wished me a safe journey. I asked my fiancé about John, and she said she has heard about the weird handyman. Yes, but she didn't make the connection to the story I told her about my ex-girlfriend cheating. Fiancé never liked ex-girlfriend and she always made fun of her style, weight, hair, etc. She made fun of her and her dress at the marriage renewal party, saying that she was desperate for attention, having a low cut. Whenever I mentioned ex-girlfriend, my fiancé got upset and we fought. I never mentioned her in person, just if it was about an event or an incident that happened around the time I was dating her. It was enough to set my fiancé off, however. Ex-girlfriend always disliked my fiancé too, calling her arrogant and a bully. We are back now from New York after 2 years, planning our wedding in May. We have been here a month and my colleague invited us for her son's birthday party. This was 2 weeks ago. When we arrived, they were all hanging in the kitchen. Ex-girlfriend was sitting around the kitchen bar with a few girls. She was wearing a black tight dress. When my fiancé saw her, she just laughed like a deranged hag and said, "Jesus, you've put on a lot of weight." Ex-girlfriend just smiled, got up and said, "I see that you are as pleasant as ever." Ex-girlfriend was pregnant and far gone. My fiancé was pink in the face when she saw the belly and she just started saying hi to the rest of the guests and ignored ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend kissed the hostess goodbye and said she better start walking home before it got too dark. I went after her to apologise and she said that it was okay. She was used to my fiancé's rudeness. I congratulated her and asked her about her baby. She is due in December. When she said I couldn't hold back my tears. I remember us lying in bed talking about our future for hours. Me telling her I wanted a daughter with her curls. And she said, "The poor girl. You don't want her waking up at 5 when she is in high school just to straighten her hair." It felt like it happened yesterday, but a million years ago. I broke my engagement off with my fiancé that night. She started screaming and calling my ex-girlfriend names. I told her it had nothing to do with ex-girlfriend, but her, and her rude, classless ways. She didn't believe me. I have moved into a hotel now because I don't want her popping up trying to get me to change my mind. I have also blocked everyone because everyone is so angry with me. My family, her family, our friends. I just want to be left alone. Well, that's the story today, and can I just say that guy sounds like a right idiot. Who ghosts their girlfriend of 2 years, not even giving them an explanation? It's just completely ridiculous. And second of all, the fact that he said that he had to make love with her a couple of times because that was going to be the last time is just disgusting. His fiance probably had a good reason to be jealous of this other girl because he was clearly not over her. I can imagine that it wasn't just passing comments that he was speaking about her. He probably spoke about her all the time, but that's all on him, and I think that they both dodged a bullet with him. He has serious issues. Well, anyway, as I said, that's the story today. If you did like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.